minutes of the lecture, because then I don't have to waste time over here for waiting for everyone for 5 minutes, right? So you have to make sure that it's just a login from house. I'm sure it doesn't take longer for you guys to just click on the link and be there, right? So you have to make sure that you are there 5 minutes before. So as soon as I have made that setting that people can join before the host joins. So don't be under that impression that a ma'am has to join first and then only I can join. I have made that settings changed that people can join before the host can join. So please make sure that you are there before time, because right now also there are only 16 students, and by the time I move on to 10-15 minutes, that time 22 students just log in. Otherwise I'll have to log the meeting dot at 11:30 every day. Okay, so I don't want to cause that inconvenience to everyone. So please make sure that you are there. When I say 11:30, at least be there by 11:25. It is not a difficult job sitting at home, right? So we'll move on to the session that we started other day, means yesterday only. So we were talking about clinical trials, and in that we learned about what all different types of clinical trials are there, what is observational study, what is experimental study. Uh, so in that case, we also learned about what is in observational study, what are different types are there, what are different types are there in experimental study. We are done learning cohort study, case control study, cross sectional study, etc. So now we'll be learning about experimental study, that is RCT and non-RCT. So yesterday we learned about what is randomized control trial. So randomized control trial is nothing but what? You'll be having a control, that is your standard, and you'll be having a study medication. So you'll be comparing between these two by randomly assigning the treatment to the subjects. So you'll be having a control drug and you'll be having the study drug, and you'll be randomly assigning the treatment to the subject, and you'll be checking for the effect, right? So in that, we also learned about what are the advantages are there with respect to randomized control trial and what are the disadvantages are there, right? So we were left with discussing the last point, but I think we discussed in the yesterday's second lecture. Then moving on to what are the types, what all types are there in case of randomized control trial. So there is parallel group trial design, then crossover trial design, factorial design, group allocation design, and adaptive design, right? So there are these many types are there with randomized control trial. So what do you mean by moving on? What do you mean by parallel trial? So a parallel study is a type of clinical study where treatment and controls are allocated to different individuals. So in this group of treatments, A and B are given so that one. So group receive only a while another group receive only A, while another group will receive only B. So parallel in the sense, uh, you have drug A and drug B, ठीक है? इनमें से कौन सा भी कंट्रोल हो सकता है, इनमें से कौन सा भी स्टडी ड्रग हो सकता है. So you have drug A, drug B, and you have subjects, for example, 50 subjects. So 25 subjects will be getting drug A, 25 subjects will be getting drug B. So this is how it will be only phase one, it will be only part one study. Like, it will not have two parts, right? Sometimes, as I told you yesterday also, that we cross the treatment in second part, right? In second phase. That means once a person receives a treatment A, he will go out for the washout period, and once he comes back, he will take the treatment B. But in case of parallel design, it will not happen so. If I have 50 participants, 25 will be getting A and 25 will be getting B. And that is how the study will be proceeded. It will have only one phase, it will not have two phases. So there will be only one part to the study, that these many people received drug A, these many received drug B, and accordingly you will do the comparison. Okay. So this was about, so you have a study population, इनमें से आधे लोगों को treatment A जाएगा, आधे लोगों को ट्रीटमेंट दी जाएगा, and then you will do the evaluation of the outcome. So it is going parallel. There is no crossover in this particular pattern. Okay. Then let me make this a full size. Yeah. What are the advantages? This is unlike crossover study design, where at first one group receives treatment A, followed by the treatment B later, while the other group receives vice versa. So just now I told you crossover study mein, once I receive A, once the subject receives the A, after in second phase he will receive the B, and vice versa will be happening to other subjects as well. Key elements of this design is randomization, right? One treatment group and one treatment as usual group. So one treatment group and one treatment as usual group. So you have one control group and one study group. So two active treatment groups. One of the groups might receive an active comparator, a treatment that's known to be effective. So that would be called as your control. Okay. So you have, so what is the main advantage over here is it saves lots of time, right? Because in crossover, once I'm giving a subject treatment A, right, then they have to go home, they have to be there 15-20 days. The washout period has to be given. Washout means the drug has to be eliminated completely out of the body system. Then again, they will enroll into the facility and they will be given drug B. So this is a longer, trial. Means crossover trial will be a longer kind of a trial. But in parallel design, this might not happen, right? So advantage over crossover, if you talk about advantage of this parallel study over the crossover trial, it will be that it saves time, right? But always it is not feasible for us to do the parallel trial. Why? We will learn about it later. Okay. Disadvantage, one treatment group and one treatment as usual group. So two active treatment groups, one of the group might receive an active and comparator, that is a treatment that's known to be effective. However, these studies generally require a large number of patients for the analysis. So you cannot see in crossover, you are enrolling a person for A also, enrolling a person for treatment B also. So you have 60 people will be getting A, 60 people will be getting treatment B. तो अगर मुझे parallel trial करना है, so if I have 60 number of people, I'll be dividing them into 30 and 30. That means my population number has reduced over here, right? So in case of parallel, you'll have to assign larger number of population at first hand only, because you will have to get 60 people for standard and 60 people for your trial drug. So in total, you'll have to enroll 120 people, right? So that is the disadvantage that you'll have to do, right? Then next is so parallel design is a very common design many a times according to the requirement. If you just want to check the bioavailability and bioequivalence of a drug comparing to another drug which is available in the market, parallel design is the best design, because it can be done very quickly, and it is time saving, and by enrolling larger number of population, it will be done in one go, because you just have to check whether the drug you have is good enough as that of available in the market or not. Okay. So you BAB trial mein, this is the best type of a design people are using in order to conduct the bioavailability and bioequivalence trial. Okay. Then crossover study. In this type of studies, each patient serves as his own control, and each patient gets both the treatment. So I have been telling you about the crossover study. So if I'm getting treatment A, in the next phase, I'll be getting treatment B. So when I'm talking about phase 1 and phase 2, it is not that phase 1 and phase 2 of clinical trial. It's a clinical trial of a means एक study है. For example, I'm checking the effect of drug X on healthy human beings, right? So I'll be taking one control, drug X, and for control for drug X and my drug X, right? So in that case, I'll be receiving drug X in one part, and once I go home for washout period, I come back, and in the next half, I'll be getting the control X, control for the same drug, right? So the you will be enrolling for into the facility. I'll be enrolling into the facility for 2 times, which will be trial as well, for drug which is new, and for the control as well. So each patient receives first treatment, then washout time is provided, and then other treatment is provided to the same. Okay, so you will be, so for example, if I draw it over here for more understanding, so this is the subject one, then I have, he has received, so there are two parts, part one and part two. Okay, so this is subject one, right? So he has received treatment A in part one, and this is your washout period. Okay, this particular line will indicate the washout period. So I enroll into the facility, subject one enroll into the facility. In part one, या फिर phase one they call it, he received the drug A. Okay, so after that he went home. After the all the clinical phase, sorry, drug A administration was done, then all the blood were samples were taken, urine samples were taken, and then after completion of the last point of blood sample, they went, they are given permission to go home with some restrictions. Okay, and then he went home. Then this is the washout period, which will be for 10 to 15 days. Okay, जनरली 15 डेज के ऊपर ही रहता है, so it will be 10 to 15 days, and then he will be coming for part 2 or phase 2. ठीक है, so in this he will be receiving drug B. ठीक है, so drug A can be controlled. So for example, drug A is what? Control. And drug B is what? Treatment B is what? Your studied medication. Study medication. ठीक है, so A is control, B is the study medication, right? So after that, it, see, for the subject one, he is getting both the treatment, the A also and the B also. So for me, if I am the evaluator of the study, if I want to make the conclusion for the same subject, I have both the reports for control as well as the study drug. So it will become very easy for me to evaluate the result pertaining to each and every individual, right? So that would be the best advantage of crossover design. Okay, and moving on, so they have shown it over here. I'll have to clear this annotation. Just a minute. Let me clear. Okay. So you have seen over here. So study population hai. One of the half of it will be getting treatment A, half of them will be getting treatment B. Then you have a washout period. Then after washout period, the subjects, this subject who received treatment A will be now receiving treatment B, and subjects who receive treatment B will now be receiving treatment A. So यहाँ पे other way round होना चाहिए, or maybe they have written in that way. So this was about parallel design and crossover design. So anybody has any doubt about it? Because these are the most common designs that are available and that are available or taken up by the people who are trying to study, okay, the clinical trials. So anybody has any doubt in this particular part? You have to let me know through the chat box, or you can unmute, one of you can unmute and let me know.
No, ma'am, no doubt.
Okay, then we move on to the next one, factorial one. Okay, factorial design. So studies involving 2 or more factors while randomizing are called factorial. Okay, so you have, currently we had only one goal of ours कि जो मेरा treatment B है या फिर मेरा drug X है, whether it is effective as that of the control drug or not. That is the only factor that I'm looking for. So factorial design is something, it can involve 2 or more factors while randomizing are called factorial. So factorial designs permit researchers to investigate the joint effect of 2 or more factors on the dependent variable, right? So factorial design, what? It permits the researcher to investigate the joint effect of two or more factors on the dependent variable. So whatever factors, for example, if I talk about a very common disease, say diabetes, okay? So I'll be checking that the medication that I'm giving. So diabetic people can be hypertensive as well, right? Diabetic people can be more prone. They can have heart disease as well, right? So the drug I'm giving, is it effective to reduce the blood sugar as well as to prevent the cardiovascular this thing disease? Can it do that? So I'll be looking for two factors, whether it is keeping the heart condition healthy or not, along with reduction of the blood glucose level. So this particular design is used when it is desired to study the influence of a number of factors on the treatments compared as well as their interaction with different treatment factors on dependent variables designs. Okay. So there are many variables. There could be many variables in a particular study. So we'll see the example if they have given any over here. So they have not given over any example over here. So only thing that you should remember in factorial design is that there could be more than one variable. Okay. So in case, for example, antihypertensive drugs, right? So antihypertensive drugs should reduce the blood pressure. At the same time, they should act on what you say, your cardiovascular system to maintain its health, right? Because high blood pressure can cause the heart attacks and all those problems. So lowering the blood sugar and also preventing the cardiovascular disease could be two part of it. Same is applicable for diabetes. I'm just giving you an example. So there are two variables. So you will be looking for antihypertensive effect as well as you will be looking for cardiovascular health. Means all the parameters that are done. So for example, blood tests that are done in order to check biomarkers checks that are tests that are done in order to check whether your cardiovascular system is working properly or not. So you'll be doing that test as well, and you'll be doing antihypertensive drugs का जो effect हो रहा है through your blood test, you can check that as well. So you'll be withdrawing the blood samples and you will be looking for the changes in the biomarkers for hypertension and also for the cardiovascular disease. So those could be variable. Those could be two variables. Yesterday we talked about the menopause, right? So you'll be looking for mood swings, right? That could be your observational part of it, and you will be looking for calcium deficiency, right? Or you will be looking for hormonal changes. What all hormonal changes that happen? So it has many n number of variables. And then if you are trying to give any treatment for a menopaused woman, then you will be taking what kind of you will be giving them what kind of a treatment, what kind of a drug for calcium in order to maintain the calcium deficiency. Means like to get cure of it, and also to maintain the mood swings कि क्या lifestyle changes हैं. So observational भी हो सकता है, experimental भी हो सकता है. So that could be a factorial design which can check into more than one factors. Okay, more than two or more factors. Okay, depending on the variables that we have. Then advantages: if no interaction can perform two experiment with less patient than performing two separate experiments. Over here, you can also what they're trying to tell in this particular this thing is that you can also check the effect of two drugs that are administered at the same time and then see the effect of those two drugs. See, many a times अगर हमें सर्दी खांसी भी होती है, then we take cetirizine, then we take paracetamol, right? We take azithromycin. So we are taking more than one drug, right? So if you administer more than one drug, या फिर two drug, या फिर three drugs, what is the drug-drug interaction that is happening while taking those medication together, and how is it affecting, whether it has a better effect on the body or not, right? So you'll be evaluating that part. So that can be also means like what I told you before. Examples could be in terms of experiment, observational and experimental way, and this could also be one of the factors, like you are at the same time you are administering two medication and then going ahead. It can examine the interaction if this is of interest, cost, it is possible to evaluate multiple treatments within the same trial using, right? So I'll be checking for effect of cetirizine, I'll be checking for effect of paracetamol as well. Fewer patient than individual comparison. So मुझे जरूरत नहीं है सिट्राजिन के लिए अलग से ट्रायल करो, पैरासिटामोल के लिए अलग अलग से ट्रायल करो. So I am having a win-win situation by administrating both the drugs at the same time, and also at the same time I'm checking the drug-drug interaction report as well, right? Disadvantage, potential adverse effects. So एक टाइम में तुम दो ड्रग्स दे रहे हो, तो इंडिविजुअल ड्रग का क्या साइड इफेक्ट है, यू माइट नॉट कम टू नो दैट, राइट? So only paracetamol, whether if after giving cetirizine and paracetamol, if the person is feeling drowsy, right? Cetirizine makes you feel drowsy, but after giving that, person is feeling both the treatments like paracetamol and cetirizine, person is feeling drowsy. You will not come to know because of which medication the person is feeling drowsy. Is it because of paracetamol or is it because of cetirizine? Or it can have a add-on adverse event, right? सो एक टैबलेट की वजह से एडवर्स इवेंट हो गया, तो दूसरे टैबलेट की वजह से वो एग्रीवेट हो गया ज्यादा, तो ये भी हो सकता है. So that could be the main disadvantage of this particular trial. Then group allocation design. So group of individuals are considered as sampling unit and treatment is given to group rather than individual subject. So which allows mass intervention. It requires more patient than individual design and necessitates cluster sampling method. So group allocation design, I don't have a particular example for this, but I will look into it. I'll find out more information about group allocation design. So in which they are telling about कि एक ग्रुप को वो टुगेदर मेडिसिन देते हैं, नॉट एज अ इंडिविजुअल सब्जेक्ट को देते हैं, एंड देन दे allow them to have that medication, and then they will look into what all effects are there. So these are very rare kind of designs. These are not very regular kind of design, the group allocations and etc. And the next one also, adaptive trial design. This is also very rare kind of a design. So an adaptive design allows modification, adaptation to the trial, and oblique or statistical procedure of ongoing clinical trials. So major adaptation of the trial or statistical procedure of ongoing trial may result in totally different trial that is unable to address the scientific and medical questions the trial intend to answer. So adaptive design, it allows the modification and adaptation of the trial. So while doing while the clinical trial is ongoing, that time if there are any modifications that you want to do, you can go ahead and do that, right? So that would be like, you can go ahead and modify a trial completely, right? So but then the goal of the study gets deviated, so you do not know whether it will reach to that particular goal that you are trying to look for, or whether it will be a positive trial. Okay. So adaptive trial is nothing but you can do the modification while the clinical trial is ongoing. Okay. So this was it about. So in RCT, I would tell you the two important designs are parallel and crossover. Okay, and also factorial. Factorial is done very rarely. If I tell you, in India at least, factorial design is not very common. Then the less common ones are group allocation design, and another one is adaptive trial design. Okay. Then coming to non-randomized clinical trials. So a clinical trials in which the participants are not assigned by chance to different treatment groups. So participants may choose which group they want to be in, or they may be assigned to the groups by the researchers. So non-randomized concurrent control studies and non-randomized historical control studies. So in this, the researcher has the liberty to choose whether they want to assign which group, which treatment. So they will be selecting a group of participants and they will be assigning the treatment to them. Okay? So you can do non-randomized concurrent control studies and non-randomized historical control studies. So non-randomized concurrent control study is what? Control group is predetermined. Already selection of the patient has been done. And non-randomized control trials rely on the participants. Volunteers to join the study are geographically close to the study site. So this is non-randomized control. So you will be selecting a population of your own choice, right? So for example, I want to do the trial on Hispanic people. So I'll be going to the Hispanic area and conducting a trial over there. So what I have done over here, I have decided what kind of a people. I'm not just going to look for that 50 kg man with BMI this and this. So that I'm not only looking for a healthy subject, but at the same time I'm looking for a particular population that I'm willing to do the trial on. Okay. Then non-randomized historical control studies. This historical controls is extreme external control, and it includes patient in consecutive series. Patient from the literature, patient from previous studies, patient as own control, and concurrent non-randomized. So historical control is nothing but you have patient with some consecutive history about some kind of a disease, right? For example, one particular type of population is more prone to some kind of a disease, right? So you will be learning about their history and how the disease is prevailing in them, and how you will assign the treatment to that particular type of population. So depending on their history and depending on their current way of status of living, and where they are living, what is their population, what was their history, so all these factors you will consider, and accordingly you will choose a control and you will choose a treatment for assigning them any treatment for a particular disease. So this is non-randomized historical control studies. So one thing I want to make clear over here is that whenever we have clinical trials in any facility going on, see in India mostly there are very big companies who go for clinical trials. For example, Pfizer, Sun Pharma, then Pyramil, Nicholas Pyramil. These are the most biggest companies. Like biggest companies will only go for clinical trials. Every other the facility that you will be looking into, they are doing, you say that they are into clinical trials, they do nothing but bioavailability and bioequivalence trial, right? Because clinical trials are first of all very expensive. It is not feasible by a common, a very low grade company या फिर medium working company या फिर average working company to go ahead and do the clinical trial. So you have to be in that field for a very long time in order to gather that much amount of economy and monetary needs, and then go ahead and conduct the clinical trial. So most of the time the clinical trials, because you see clinical trials can vary depending on the type of population you want to study, right? Whereas BA/BE trials, bioavailability and bioequivalence trial are very simple, that you have a control group, you have your own medication, just do it. That for example, paracetamol by Cipla is already there in the market, right? And paracetamol by Glenmark is now made. ठीक है. Now what Glenmark will do, Cipla as a control ले लेगा, उनका tablet ले लेगा paracetamol का, then they will call a randomized control, they will do a randomized control trial. Crossover design भी कर सकते हैं, parallel design भी कर सकते हैं. So this is how. So it completely depends on the disease and the type of population that you have selected, that which kind of a design you would select. Okay? And what is the goal of your study, right? Observational hai, so you will be observing the people for a very long period of time. Then it will go into that cohort study and etc. And then case study. Then if you want to do the experimental trial in which you want to conclude that what is the effect of my drug on the human subjects, then you will be doing only experimental trial, in which you will be doing a randomized control trial and non-randomized control trial. So these are very important things that I just wanted to know. So this is not there in your syllabus, but you must know what are controlled, what are randomized control trial, what are non-randomized control trial, and what are the main two things. What are the main types of studies, observational and experimental. So you must know what it is. Okay. Uh, so we have less than 2 minutes remaining. If anybody has any question, can ask me. In the meantime, I'm telling you about the this thing. What you say? I have posted a assignment which is due in 2 weeks. So I have put some questions in there which you have to answer. If you have any doubts in that particular with those questions, please make sure to post it on the Google Classroom, or else you can WhatsApp me. Okay. Anybody has any doubt with the current session, today's session? If you have any doubt with today's session, you can let me know. Okay. Okay. So I'll end the meeting over here. And yesterday's meeting, I have yesterday's session, I have joined it together and posted it on the YouTube channel of ours. Please make sure everybody is subscribing to the channel, and make sure whenever you want to learn, you can just go ahead and look into any lecture. Okay. So I'm signing off for now. I'll see you in the afternoon session. Bye.